YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with another Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming here with a Commanders training camp recap. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure to go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me on my social media links down below in the description, and cop some Juan Gotti Talking Sports merch. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into today's videos.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Louis. I'm about to fuck this joint up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Damn. When I hop in the booth, they fuck with my sound. Put that shit on the scale, we taxin' pound for pound. Nigga keep dissing, put them in the ground. My shit in your ear and tell me how it sound. A nigga too smart can catch me out of bounds. Let's go. That bitch got cooked like some chicken. And he lying, he not rapping what he living. That is my cousin, but this shit a business. Work that bitch out just like we doing fitness.
So, yesterday was your boy's birthday, and I appreciate everyone for the birthday wishes in the comment section. Do me a favor and check out the song that I dropped, Commanders Fight Song. The link is down below in the description. It was getting some good feedback. You know, I think the fight song that I made is way better than the one that they put out, so go ahead and check that one out for me. It's in the description. And also, let's get straight into the video. So, today's training camp recap. It was spicy. Terry McLaurin and Kendall jawing at each other, man. We'll get into that. But the first thing I want to tackle, that Antonio Gibson was on special teams today, guys. He was on special teams and he was running with the threes today. I don't want to look too much into it, but you know, last time we had a running back run with special teams and threes, I'm thinking Matt Jones, Robert Kelly days, right? Obviously, Antonio Gibson are way better than those guys, but I'm just looking into it like maybe it's a little punishment for Antonio Gibson or something. But it is a little weird that he was on the special teams, you know, and he was running with the threes today. But he did eventually run with the ones for the last series. But again, you got to throw that out there just to let people know he was running with the threes today and the special teams unit. I don't know what that could possibly mean. I'm just going to go ahead and say that it was probably some type of little disciplinary action or some punishment for the fumble that he had versus the Panthers. Now, let's get into the tweets and the quotes from today's practice. As always, shout out to Zach Salisbury for holding it down for us since we are not at practice. Now, the first thing that he says, Curtis Samuel on the field again today for practice and full pads as he tiptoes to stay in bounds. So Curtis Samuel, man, he has been ramping up really fast and good, man. You know, I was curious to see how he was going to look in the preseason game. He made a couple receptions. He was pretty solid in the preseason game. He looked fine, and he's right back out there at practice, and he looks good, man. He looks like he's himself. I heard a lot of people say he looked like he's himself at practice, so man, it's good to finally see Curtis Samuel out there consecutive days. Hopefully now he'll be ready for week 1 versus Jacksonville, because we know we need Curtis Samuel back. So shout out to Curtis Samuel, man, and it feels good to finally have him back out there. And Zach Shelby goes on to say this: my goodness, David Mayo and Khalil Hudson just blew up a run by Jonathan Williams in the backfield. So you got the linebackers making some plays, man. Hopefully this can transition into the game, man, because we need some depth, man. As we seen in that Panthers game, and we knew this going in, the linebacker depth behind Jamie Davis and Cole Holcomb is terrible, but as they got put on full display the game versus the Panthers, P.J. Walker was just picking us apart, using his legs to extend plays, throwing across the middle. Like, the linebackers are so bad, bro. The depth there is bad, and we need to upgrade it, you know, tremendously. Like, we need an upgrade there. I don't care if it's Nathan Gary or if it's someone else. We just need more linebackers, because we cannot go in the season with David Mayo, Khalil Hudson, Trey Walker, anybody. We just need more linebacking depth, because right now we are looking bad at the position. But shout out to those two guys for making a nice run in the backfield. Hopefully it can transition into the game and someone can step up and be a backup linebacker to Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb. Okay? Moving on The defensive line is really standing out to start today's practice. They've been in the backfield more often than not, putting pressure on the QBs and disrupting run plays. So shout out to the defensive line for doing their thing, man. Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, all those guys. Jahan Dotson just pulled in a leaping sideline grab from Wentz, WJ3 and the CB covering on the play. So shout out to Jahan Dotson for bagging on William Jackson III. Curtis Hodges looks like he's about to make another contested catch today until Jeremy Reeves ripped it away. So the third team gets some action. Curtis Hodges is a guy that is really, really intriguing, man. Wentz went to him a lot in Saturday's game versus the Panthers, and he hauled in every single catch. So I was quick to really write him off, but I might start to consider him making this roster. Or if he doesn't make this roster, he will be an intriguing development piece that we can keep on for the future, because I was just writing him off. Him, Amani Rodgers, just writing him off. But Curtis Hodges looked like he can play at this level and play the tight end position. So I'm going to be intrigued and going to continue to watch his development as the years go on. 2-minute drills are going on right now. William Jackson III just ended the series for the starters with a pick on the pass from Wentz targeting Terry. So William Jackson making a play on the ball. I love to see it there. Red zone drills are up next. Wentz on the first series throw out of the end zone, completing it to Samuel for the touchdown. Or it says red zone drills are up next. Wentz on the first play series throws it out of the end zone, then completes it to Samuel, and then a touchdown to Jahan Dotson. So it looks like Wentz is pretty solid today, bouncing back after that pick that he had to William Jackson III. And he says on the very next play, Dotson somehow brings in another catch for a touchdown. So Jahan Dotson is having himself a really good day. Hopefully we can get him more involved in the offense next week. Like, obviously I don't want to see him play that much, but I just want to see him get his first reception, make him get the butterflies out of his system, all that. I want to see him be more involved in this offense week 2 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So Danny Johnson just made a spectacular one-handed pick and took it all the way back home for a touchdown. The defense is fired up after that play. Danny Johnson's a guy, again, he didn't have the best of days. He was one of the guys in the secondary that was just getting picked apart last week versus the Panthers. Hopefully he can bounce back better during the Chiefs game this week, but it's nice to see him making plays in practice, because he is a depth guy that you would like to have around. Jamin Davis brings in an interception after the ball popped up in the air on a collision by Dax Milne and a DB. So Jamin Davis finally making a play around the ball. He's a guy, that's what I thought we were going to get out of him, from Kentucky, was being like a pass coverage and linebacker, being around the ball, being able to, intercept passes and stuff like that. He didn't really strike me as much of a run stuffer, but he's finally making a play on the ball, and the ball jarred it loose and he caught it. So shout out to Jamin Davis making plays on the ball. Now let's switch over to Nikki Giovanni. Let's see if she has some news for us, because that was the final tweet from my man Zach Selby. Let's see what Nikki Giovanni has to say. Terry McLaurin just caught a pass over the head of Cam Curl and Kendall Fuller, and now McLaurin is seriously trash talking with Fuller, and I'm so here for this. So I love it, man. Terry McLaurin, it takes a lot for Terry to start talking trash. Terry's a guy that's just normally quiet, lead by example, just go out there and show his work. But something really had to go on for Terry to start, getting hype and talking trash. I believe he said something to Kendall Fuller like, that's for disrespecting the field out here. So Terry's fired up. I'm fired up. I love when Terry talks his trash. Remember, I want to say it was last offseason of the 2020 training camp where Dwayne Haskins threw a pass to Terry McLaurin in the back of the end zone. He caught it, and he started talking trash, yelling, and he kicked the ball. So, Terry can talk some trash. It's all about can you get it out of him. You know what I'm saying? Terry isn't going to go for that, but he's more likely than not going to take the class act and just show up, do his work. But if you push his buttons, he's going to let you know something, especially if you make a big play. So shout out to the captain, shout out to the best person on this team, Terry McLaurin, for making play. So again, Antonio Gibson was back with the ones after he spent some time with special teams and the third unit. So again, I don't know what that necessarily means, but Antonio Gibson was with the third team and special teams today. Let's see what else. So last thing we can talk about here is Alex Armour and Sammis Reyas are out for the year unless they reach injury settlements and sign somewhere else. So that's pretty frustrating in a way for Sammis Reyas, just because for the simple fact that I thought we had something with him. Remember last year when we first signed him, we were like, hey man, if this guy develops right, he could be something for us. But last game versus the Panthers was pretty much the writing on the wall, because he didn't get in the game at all. Like, he didn't get in the game at all. Curtis Hodges and Amani Rogers were the only tight ends getting in. So that says a lot about what they think about Sammis Reyas, and the fact that he is out for the season with a hamstring tweak just shows you that they don't believe in him. You know, they want to say he's injured so they can try to keep him around, so they can develop him. But Sammis Reyas might sign somewhere else, and that's a big risk that they're taking. You know, I understand they don't want to have him on the roster. They can just use an injury before the season starts as a reason to keep him out for the year, but he still is going to be a part of the team and part of the building. He's just not going to take up a roster spot. But let's say Sammis Reyas is like, man, I want to play somewhere else. I want to see if I can get a job somewhere else, and they'll give me a chance. But again, that's a risk that you're taking. So Washington is going to play Sammis Reyas on IR for the whole year. More likely than not, it's nothing really wrong with them, but they're not trying to expose him to the other teams or give the other teams chances to poke him off their roster. So they're just going to use injury settlement with him, or injury excuse with him, so he can be somewhat safe. Like, he's going to be on the team, but he's not going to take up a roster spot, and that's their way of showing him or telling him that he's not ready, and he's still developing. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on everything as always. But there you have it. It's Big Boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. Hello to the Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me on my social media links down below in the description, and cops on Juan Gotti Talking Sports merch. As always, Big Boy Juan Gotti. I'm out. Peace. Cost me one time, that's gonna get you popped. Get you popped.